Okay, welcome back. This is the Super Morning Show right here on ELBC Radio. A tight presentation this morning. And, okay, with no time to waste, we've been joined by our first set of guests. And we have Mr. Victor Steward, Director of Rose Millennium Challenge Account-Liberia, and Mr. George Delano Bryant, who is the President and CEO of the Liberia Renaissance Construction Company. Well, gentlemen, I'd like to say welcome to the Super Morning Show. Just come a bit closer to the microphone.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Tuli. Thank you for having us on. Compliments from our CEO, Mr. Moni Captain, and the rest of the staff at Millennium Challenge Account.
Wow, Mr. Moni Captain, I haven't heard about for quite a long time. How is he?
He's doing good.
Okay, he's doing good. He's a quiet guy.
Yeah, well, we're having challenges, but
I know.
He's everybody.
There will always be challenges. Yeah. Okay, Mr. George Delano Bryant, welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure being here, Prince, and also to Jerome, and also to the other guys in the studio. Well, from the Liberia Renaissance family, I bring you greetings.
Okay, it's Prince Tuli and Jerome Chede Jr. Let's not get straight into it with no time to waste. Beginning with the Director of Roles from the Millennium Challenge Account-Liberia, Mr. Victor Steward. Well, Mr. Steward, tell us what is the Millennium Challenge all about?
The Millennium Challenge is a grant program by the U.S. government. It's a little different from other grant programs in there's some very stringent requirements. It's a competitive environment where we have to propose certain projects. The U.S. government comes in, and Millennium Challenge Corporation comes in and reviews the situation, and we have a scorecard of 10 different areas that we have to pass: education, good governance, empowerment of women, and so forth. Just in addition to technical aspects. In this particular case, okay, the Millennium Challenge had a threshold here, and they did a study. It was on education. Mr. Moni Captain led that, and a lot of other people, and we managed to qualify, amazingly. So this time now the compact came through. We have about $257 million. The bulk of that money will go to energy. The analysis they did when they came here says, all right, the two major constraints to economic growth and reducing poverty are lack of access to affordable electricity and the deplorable road network in Liberia. So again, most of the money went to electricity. They're trying to finish up Mount Coffee Dam. The idea there is to get affordable electricity to the rural areas, encourage businesses, people can have lights, electricity, refrigerators, the basic needs that will encourage economic growth. Then on my side, the smaller portion of the project is roads, and it's not roads construction. We have a lot of donors that contribute money to that, but they're all demanding, hey, we're tired of building new roads and they're not being taken care of. So the Millennium Challenge, as Director of Roads, my primary directive is to put in place a foundation for planning, a system for planning which roads get to be maintained, and a system for maintaining them, and then building capacity within the country so that we have our own people doing it. The whole idea is after this compact is over in 5 years, the compact ends in January of 2021. Okay, it's only 5 years, and that is the challenge part. Most compacts, you hear it from Millennium Corporation all over the place. They never manage to spend all the money. If you don't spend the money, it goes back.
Okay, we will get back to you, but let's get to Delano Bryant, the President and CEO of the Liberia Renaissance Construction Company. Tell us about your institution briefly.
Well, LRCC for short is involved into road design, road project management, consultancy, traffic planning, forecasting of traffic development for road sector. It is a 100% owned Liberian company, been in existence in 2014. They're doing extremely well. Currently, you can see from our work we've been doing is now we partner with international organizations like the MCA, the NCC, VOPI, the Department of Transportation from the US. So we've been working around Liberia, providing services to government agency and also to private sector, also to the World Bank. So work that we have done over the last 3 years. So like I said, we evolved into current project with the project with the MCA. The MCA was our client currently. We're hired by the Department of Transportation of the U.S. To serve as project manager for this project for the next 5 years. So my own involvement is to manage.
Which project are you talking about?
The Liberia Road Network project.
Okay.
Liberia Road Network project, where he just talked about. And the objective of that project also is to provide detailed technical details concerning the road network of our country. One is looking at what are our roads, what are the conditions of our road, what the road length of our country. A couple of days ago, you heard the Minister of Public Works in the studio. He mentioned that Liberia has over like 11,000 kilometers of road. Then the question is, where are they? What are the current conditions? So that this exercise we're about to start, hopefully by next week, for the next 6 weeks, is to do a detailed survey, engineering survey, collecting data that can tell us Liberian that what our road at in 11,000 kilometers, where are the conditions, what are the breaches, and then for budgetary purposes. And he will talk more about the maintenance component of it when we're talking about budgeting for the road fund. But our portion is the engineering component of the project. My company is in charge to collect all the basic and necessary data for the engineering component of it.
Okay, Mr. Victor Steward, tell us specifically relative to road construction, what role will your institution play in this direction?
Well, that's just it. We're not doing any construction. This is all about maintenance, okay? Which, when the donors, the international donors, see that the roads are being maintained and Liberia has a system in place, okay? They recently passed the National Road Fund Act back in 2015, December, I'm sorry. And what that does is they don't want to tax everybody. They just say, well, okay, the people that use the roads are the ones who have to pay for it. So what they do, they have a tax on the fuel, a levy on the fuel. And you buy gas, and the money from this fund, the tax goes into this fund, which is to be used to maintain the roads. So what we are here to do is to put a system in place so that there is, a systematic planning of which roads are to be done. It's not just haphazard or politicized or prioritized, okay? I applaud the representatives and our politicians. Their job is to get money and get projects to their areas. I encourage them to continue to do that. Where our program comes in place is once they do that, then the maintenance has to be done systematically. It has to be done based on priorities. It can't be done haphazard. And that's part of what Delano's group is doing. They're going out and inventory the whole network and see what condition the road in. Ministry of Public Works, we just trained 13 people over there on this sophisticated software. I got to give a hand to these guys, okay? Everybody was saying they can't handle it, this, that, and not just guys, women, okay? We got 13 people over there that they did very well on this sophisticated software, and they are coming up with a 5-year plan that will be updated every year to prioritize roads all over the country. Liberia is not just Monrovia. So this system will encompass the whole network, and based on how fast this thing is deteriorating, it will prioritize where that money from the road fund should be spent to maintain the roads. That will encourage the donors to come in and give us money to build more roads.
We are now, okay, before we get to Jerome to ask you, and that is, we are already in the rainy season, which means there's going to be a very serious challenge in maintaining these roads, because you talk about road maintenance. How do you expect to cope with, how is it really going to be like in terms of coping with the rainy season in the maintenance of these damaged roads, or these roads that are already there but need to be maintained?
Well, you're right. The rain is the biggest detriment to the roads. Yeah, for right now, what we're going to do is, that's the best time to collect the data, when the roads are in their worst condition. Okay, we don't want to go out there in the dry season when the roads look good, and then when it starts raining, they get impassable. So right now, during the rain season, that's what the group is going to be doing. They're going to be surveying the conditions. They're going to take an inventory of all the roads. But once the program gets in place, there are things you can do, especially on the paved roads. The unpaved roads is very difficult. during the rainy season. But on the paved roads, you can still do minor maintenance. And then also the drainage. We get a chance to really study the drainage when we got the heavy rainfall and see where the problem areas are. But yeah, you're right. Most of the maintenance work will be done in the dry season. And that's what this program is all about. Use the rainy
So for
season.
now, the assessment will be done now.
Yeah.
Then later on, the maintenance is done.
Right.
Let me just add on to that. The exercise currently like going to start. It's not about maintenance, executing maintenance. It's about how can we plan for maintenance.
Plan for maintenance.
And the way we can plan for maintenance is collecting data, technical data. And these data are going to collect, or we give you a budgetary plans where you can prioritize your work. So now, for example, we go in the field the next 6 weeks. We collect the data on 11,000 kilometers on primary roads in Liberia. The data tell us that we run that into a system called HDM4. The HDM4 quantify the entire data. It tells you that for the next 5 years, the maintainable roads in Liberia cost maybe less than $50 million. And the thing about it is how do we go about prioritizing those roads based on the funds we have? So that's what the system does. So you see, the exercise is very, very important in the sense is that it helps you for planning, for budgetary, and for execution. So that is why the exercise is for. This is why something that other donors have started before, but always more detailing, because you have a long period of doing this. We're going to look at the road surfaces. We're going to look at the bridge infantry as well. So this exercise, like I said, is 5 years project. In the first 1 year, it's all about collecting intensive data, validating the data, and showing that the data we have that can help government in planning. Now, in year 2, you realize there'll be the formation, or the formation of the road fund is already. We already have a road fund executive director currently. So hopefully by next year we hope to see some implementation. By then you have fun. That will be. So that's the importance of the exercise. So the exercise is not collecting the technical data.
Are you doing this in consultation with the Ministry of Public Works?
Yes. The project is like what I said, is a bilateral project. That's why you see the MCA is here for. So Public Works is the beneficiary. A couple of months ago, my company along with the MCA were able to train guys from Public Works, over 13 persons, on a system called HDM4. It's a highway development maintenance system that you collect the data and put the data into the system. It tells you how you prioritize a road based on the net value, net present value. They tell you that this road cannot be maintained because it don't have the economic return. That's why it tells you. So the guys that they have the capacity to do it now. Unlike before, they say that we don't have capacity in Liberia. Now you can see your Liberian company now is partnering with an international company executing the job. Before you see like they bring in experts from all of Liberia, come and do this work in our country. Now it's a privilege that we have a local Liberian company going to hire engineers from in Liberia. So you feel that the benefits will stay right here. Capacity benefit and financial benefit are going to stay here. So the public is actually involved into it at the beneficiary stage.
Beautiful, but still on roads specifically in terms of maintenance. I just want to go to you, Mr. Steward. Is there any time frame stipulated in terms of the completion of the maintenance process?
Oh, well, it's ongoing. Okay, the compact ends, like I said, in about little more than 2.5 years, January 2021. But the maintenance, the data will be collected, updated annually, because the roads deteriorate annually based on the rainfall. You know, different roads get deteriorated, get in bad shape. So what this system does is collect the data, and the whole thing is it has to be sustainable. You have these consultants come in, the government pays them all this money, or the donors pay them all this money, they do all these studies and everything, and then the results are put on a shelf in Public Works. The difference between our program is when we leave, Public Works and other agencies, the National Road Fund, they will be responsible for doing this, and they will continue what we are doing.
Beautiful. How feasible is this feat in terms of achievement, and how does the road maintenance process add value or contribute to the socio-economic development of the country?
Okay, as I mentioned before, okay, once we meet, roads are an asset, okay, and unlike iron ore, rubber, gold, diamonds, and all that, the foreign countries can't take that out. As a matter of fact, once they give it to us, we build it, it's ours, all right? It adds value. Everybody knows that when you build a road somewhere, development comes, businesses come, people farmers have a way to get their goods to market. People move out to that area, so property values increase. So I mean, the benefits of roads go on, and the better the road maintained, the lower cost it is for you to operate your vehicle. And you don't have the heavy traffic problems. You look down the road here, especially the Ralphie Highway and right up the street here, you got cars stopping in the middle of the road because the shoulder is too high. The side of the road has just cracked off to the point where the cars, the taxis and everything can't get off the road. So they're stopping. Well, that's holding up traffic for miles down the road. When we fix the road and do that, the cars will be able to pull off to the side, pick up their passengers, load and unload, and traffic will be able to continue to flow. So those are just some of the minor benefits that go along with it.
Okay, I heard you talk about, saying that Monrovia is not Liberia, which I think is a fact, that indeed Monrovia is not Liberia. Everything has to be decentralized. Let's talk about, do you have a specific target? Those areas in the country that you have targeted, that you've seen that indeed are more deplorable, that need to be concentrated on most.
Yeah, that is why the survey, those are some of the outcomes of the survey. So the survey is a cross-cutting survey in the entire 15 counties in Liberia, assessing the primary roles. So the outcome will tell you that, like for example, let me not be specific or county, like as a Grand Bassa.
Okay.
Let's say the survey tells you that.
Where you come from?
We're from the civil county, Grand Bassa.
I know.
So in Bassa, they will tell you that the primary Bassa is pretty close. Let's say it's 300 kilometers from Monrovia to Bassa, and then like 20 or let's say 150 kilometers of that section is in deplorable stage. That is not maintainable, which may need upgrading. That's a recommendation. That's what it tells you. It also tells you that like it's 50 kilometers of the road are maintainable, meaning it is the cost for the 50 kilometers of the road. It tells you the rest of the kilometer of road is between, which means in the first stage or now in the bad stage. That's what the survey tells you. So you're gonna have what we call a succinct kind of system, wherein that you just sit in and then look at the system, look at your network. Just look at your network. So just look at Liberia network. Now you're a journalist. You can sit right here. The Minister of Public Works comes to the next slide. He said, "Praise, look at the network of Liberia. We tell you the road from here to Maryland. These are the road from here to Maryland, and then you see here these are the conditions you can find. This is in good condition. So the next 2 years, if we don't do this, what is going to happen? If we do this in year one, it will save up $1 million. If we don't do this, this will happen. So now it gives you a clear picture of the entire network. Now this is what we've been lacking of in our country, that we don't have the kind of system. So one man woke up in the morning and said, "Donald said we're bringing 300 million to Liberia to do road network." So like, huh? Where the money is going? They pay almost 300 million just to do road, but where are the roads? Where were the conditions before even fixing it? Now, a typical Liberian man sitting down there in Bokonjiri will be able to tell you that, yeah, I know how my road looking, because there will be sensitization going on in counties. People being informed about the road network and their own roads. Like he said, they got a project for education, sensitization about how the roads are. And that will be the function of the road fund as well. So the SI is very, very succinct in the sense that it will educate our people. It will prepare them for the rain season or for the dry season. It will help the Ministry of Public Works in planning and budgeting and execution as well. And also, as typical Liberian, we will understand where our road network and the importance of our own road network and how to maintain our road network. Okay,
after the assessment is done by your company, how soon do you expect you to report to the Ministry of Public Works?
There's an ongoing process, it's an evolving process. So as the data is collected, okay, the data is collected, we updating the data. So like that, the guys leave for the field on Monday. They're in the field the first week the data comes in. We start uploading the data to the US, to our partner in the US, and then the US send the data to the MCA. So the MCA then we have, after that first 6 weeks, we do validation of the data. So meaning hopefully by June, you realize that the first portion of that data will be shared with the Ministry of Works through the MCA.
Okay, so let's throw more light on your source of funding for this project.
Let me address that. Okay. It's a grant to the Millennium Challenge Corporation, was set up by the Republicans under George Bush. And like I said, it's a little different from all the rest. Everybody think that, we got this grant and they just can't put $257 million in the bank. Those people are not stupid, okay? Anything they can pay for on that side, they pay for. The money we get here is very specific, okay? Every 3 months, we have to tell them, this is what we're planning to do, and this is how much money we need. And after that 3 months, we go back, and if we haven't spent the money, they want to know why. They want to know why.
Do they audit you?
There's an ongoing audit, okay? We just got through with one. There's going to be another one probably in a year or two, and then a final audit when it's all done. But yeah, it's an ongoing process. Every 3 months, they kind of do an audit. They want to see if it's not a detailed audit, but we set goals and targets, and if we don't meet those goals as far as how we're supposed to spend the money, they want to know why. Now, in my particular project, if I can just explain briefly, it's only $15 million. But it's not about how the money is being spent to do the maintenance. What we're trying to do is push the government to take ownership of this. And I have to give accolades to my people at Public Works. They are stepping up, okay? And I feel good that when this program is over, they will continue it. The road fund, you know, been having a little trouble, but I guess it's going to get started now. They've appointed a road fund manager. Money's supposed to start going to the fund. But the whole idea is they take the data says, just like he said, if you don't fix this road, if you fix this road this year, you do the maintenance, it'll be $1 million. If you don't fix it this year, next year it will cost you $5 million, okay? That's things that people can't see. This is what this software does, okay? And that's how it prioritizes everything. So the source of funding, back to your question, is from the U.S. government, but for the roads project, we are matching money that the Liberian government will spend according to the terms of the compact. It has to be based on the system that is put in place and done in accordance to specific specifications. Once that meets the criteria, then the funds from the road project will be used to match dollar for dollar whatever the government spent, up to $15 million. So if the government can bring in $15 million, we bring in $15 million, that's $30 million. The money from our compact is only for primary roads. The money from the road fund is for maintenance of all roads. Primary roads are the roads that connect county capitals. So we're doing a very little in Monrovia, okay? But you got Robertsport, you got Buchanan, you got Greenville, you got Cestos, you got Banga, all the capitals that are connected with primary roads.
What about the feeder roads?
The feeder roads are included under the road fund,
Okay.
but the compact was basically to get the government started, put the system in place. Okay, so we try to just focus on a specific area, and the way they determine how much money you're supposed to get, they do a economic rate of return analysis, and basically that's it. It will put $1 in, what will it do? How many jobs will it create? And then another thing about roads, again, and we're going to address that, is as the roads improve, your accidents, injuries, and fatalities go up. Okay, so on the other side of that, we're going to be putting in place with Ministry of Transportation safety awareness training. Okay, so that we're not improving these roads and then turning around and killing our people. Okay, systems in place. They have the axle load controller. That was another part of this. The roads get torn up by heavy trucks. So since they tear up the roads, they should be the ones to pay.
Because that is another thing, where when a road is built, there will be a sign that says no trucks allowed. Yet you still find truck drivers, riding on that road.
Yes. So this whole law is about putting systems in place to monitor that and enforce it. Okay, there's going to be weigh stations throughout the country as the trucks because most of them will be trucks coming from across the border. As they come from across the border, they will be weighed. And depending on how much they weigh and what they're bringing in, they have to pay a levy on that, taxes on that, to maintain the road. So in addition to the fuel, the users that do the most damage are the ones that are going to pay the most money to keep the roads maintained.
We're about to leave you, but before we leave, there was something you talked about in one of your comments, and you stated that you talk about women empowerment.
Yes.
I don't know whether this goes to you or Delano relative to his employees that he has at his institution. Do you have females employed who are actively working?
Yeah, I have like over 4 staffs who are civil engineer, and then 2 of them are currently in the University of Liberia studying civil engineering. So I do prioritize empowerment program when it comes to civil engineering.
In terms of empowering women.
Yeah, because it is very good, because you realize that our sector will find ourselves in the engineering sector. Most women are not interested. Sometimes I feel that because of the many challenges. It's sometimes because we don't have mentor. But I promise you that then the engineering field is one of the best fields for female, because the opportunities are many for them. The chances are there for them. So some of us coming from a background that we've been motivated by other people's legacy. We try to motivate them to come up. So I have like 4 persons who are civil engineer, and some who are even studying civil engineer. And I also encourage, if I can have all of my engineers in my office, I feel I appreciate that.
Okay, let me see whether we can take a few calls because we have our next set of guests.
Quickly, Prince. Let me just
Let's take a few calls.
All right.
Let's take a few calls because we are already out of time.
Yes,
Even though
due
to already due to some engagements, we had to do that. But let's see as to whether we can take some calls right here on the Super Money Show on ELBC Radio. You can call us on 0776 089 713 and 0880 514 This is a very important discussion talking about roads, roads construction, road maintenance, and I think this is very, very important to the reconstruction of Liberia because you just can't do anything, constructively, or possibly you cannot achieve your goals without having good roads in your country. We have the infrastructure man, the man who has his infrastructure program, and he's Prince Tamba. Welcome to the Super Money Show. Good morning.
What they're doing and what they're about to do for Liberia. And my colleague there, I'm proud of you. Thank you now that you're partnering with Bovie, to also do this. It's part of the capacity building we've been talking about for Liberia. But let me be quick to just caution you a little bit, I think a couple of months ago, there was a study conditional survey that was also done by Alliance Engineering. I think we were all consulted about this process. It was a detailed conditional survey. It was validated by the Ministry of Public Works. I just don't want a situation where we just do things because we have to meet up our KPIs, but it should be something that is not duplicated. This process was done as an input to the multimodal transport master plan, and we all look at that input. All of our road networks, 90% of our primary roads are in deployable condition. We know this. What we need is execution. All of these studies, they are good. They inform us about these things. But if it's been done before, why not we use that data? So I would just caution you, maybe you just talk to World Bank, or the IIU, or maybe Alliance Engineering. They already have this data, including Bridge Centric. They have this data. We can fastly move because the time is going to take you to do all these studies. We need implementation. If we already have this study, we already have the information, at this point we should be talking about implementation. So, but on the side of Steward, I just want to know, in terms of maintenance, I think you indicated only primary roads. And is it possible to extend beyond primary road, maybe secondary roads as well? Thank you very much, Prince, for taking my call. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Prince Tama of the Prince Tama Infrastructure Platform. We'll take two more calls and then wrap up to speak with our next set of studio guests right here on the Super Money Show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, your name, go ahead quickly.
Well, my name is Janika Abraham Sharif, and I do know you from Dual Community, most especially youth president of Dual Community.
Go ahead, make your point.
Well, let me say thank you to your studio guests, and let me say thank you for affording them this opportunity to bring them to your studio to discuss our road project. I can retrospect some days back, some months back, the same Renaissance company came to Dual Community to rehabilitate the road of Dual Community. And at the end of the day, there was a serious problem. We have two roads linking to Dual Community. Knowing the fact Dual Community is a major road on the map of public work. The company came into Dual Community hoping that it could face the road of Dual Community. Now, the two roads are linking to Dual Community. The one that is very accessible to the people, that road was cut because of vandalism, and they left the road the way they did it. At the end of the day, we have only one road left. The one road that left is very deployable. Right now, we don't have a small vehicle coming in And because of that, our people are facing serious problems in Dole community.
Okay, thank you. I think you got your point already. That is, you want them to go to the community in order to do some maintenance work on that road that was left undone. Well, let's get back to our studio guest. After taking a few calls, okay, let's take this final one and then get back to our studio guest to respond to some of these comments made. This one, hello. Yeah, good morning, welcome. This is the Super Money Show. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, please. I'm Baku, the resident engineer of County County. What I want to caution here, as students, we need to start in something where you have some money that is going to develop in something you need something where you ask them for that need is accepted. You get money, you just drink it and put it in a project that is duplicated. That's why we also find our alliance or survey that went throughout this country. We have the data, we have the report. So if you are coming on with us, same thing in me is a lot of waste of money and time. So what we need now is to use the money that we have, that the challenge has, for implementation.
Okay, thank you so much. We don't have time in our favor. Let's go back to our studio guests to respond quickly to some of these comments made.
I think I'll be the first to go. I listened to the caller from Dole community, and I empathize with the situation. The situation currently we are working on the Looking Town Road, and from there we're proceeding to Dole community. So hopefully by next we'll be on the Dole community route. So we started with the Looking that is already approved by Popular. We also have a schedule for which we're working with. So that's one. And then the other issue Prince mentioned concerning that what has been done by Alliance. You see, look, we did a master plan for Liberia until 2011 when I was working with GIZ. We did that for Liberia for 10 years. And where the World Bank did was an update of the master plan, certain portion of the master plan. That was done. We do respect the work by the World Bank and also Alliance, and that work has been validated. There are still things that need to be done. This is a plan for a 5 years plan for another project, and that is where it's unfolded. So works that have been done previously and work have been based on the expertise involvement, and also work that are going to be done now, and work also being involved with expertise involvement. So we say we respect the work of Alliance. It's not duplication. Prince, it's not duplication.
One important thing that Prince also talked about has to do with the data that will be collected after your assessment is done, and then you report it. For example, you report it to the Ministry of Public Works. But implementation has been a very serious challenge.
Yeah, but one of the reasons is very simple. System were not put in place. Now you're going to have a system put in place to manage the network, the road fund. You heard Victor talking about there will be fund allocated, put aside. So now, the constraint have been, government had a competitive budget. You have a budget for health, you have a budget for education, you have a budget for security, you have a budget for let's say, whatever you can call it. So you have a budget, a cumbersome budget that everyone is running to that one budget. So budget for road is there. So if you have a budget that's coming for Popular Works for a year, like $30 million for a whole year for the road network in Liberia, can you imagine? So you got maintenance work, you got rehabilitation work. Just to do a rehabilitation for one road is not going to cost that less than $800,000. So it's very expensive. So Parliament may not have all of that money coming in at that time. Now you have a road fund going to be established. Fuel levy will be there. So now you're going to see that in the next couple of months there will be increment in fuel and petroleum product. So that money goes directly straight to the road fund. So in a year, road fund got like $5 million. That $5 million is only for road maintenance. A certain portion of it go down for road rehabilitation. So it's like 60-40. That's how it's going to be arranged. 40% for rehabilitation, 60% for maintenance. Where in the case there's no road for maintenance, you go back and borrow money for the one for rehabilitation. Okay, so it's going to be a direct involvement.
Sure.
Yeah.
We hope to have sufficient time to talk about this more on the Super Money Show, or just probably on any other platform on ELBC Radio. As we are already out of time, let me just get each of you parting comments.
Well, very proud to be involved with this program, and again, this whole thing is about sustainability. Okay, when the compact is done, the Liberian government and related agencies will have a system in place to maintain the roads, and it's not just the primary roads, Prince. The road fund is for all roads, routine, primary, and periodic, and emergency maintenance. So this is something that will be sustainable. It's not something where the consultants leave and then people are right back where they left before. This will empower Liberian contractors and businesses to be involved. That money will be going to Liberians, okay, who cannot afford to do these heavy multi-$100 million projects. Maintenance, the packages will be small enough where Liberian companies will be able to do the work with Liberian workers. And the people in the community, all the COBs and whatnot, will be involved in this.
Okay, Delano.
Well, I'd like to say thank you to Prince for his observation, his comments, and also I give a big respect to Victor Smith, who also own Alliance, who have worked together over the years together, who have done similar work like I'm going to do currently. We ask every engineer in Liberia to come up with their ideas, advise your ideas. This is Liberia's own thing. Let us work together to enhance the infrastructure sector. And also I'd like to say thank you to the American government, to VOPI and also BAR, and to the MCA for giving us Liberian the opportunity to be able to work in our own country and to contribute towards the infrastructure sector. So I said thank you for Liberia Readiness and Construction Company and also to the ELBC family.